It's become a tradition on the blog and in my newspaper column to share my favorite Christmas cat story this time of year. The touching legend is included in my Complete Kitten Care book, and it tells the story of a simple tabby cat and her gift on the very first Christmas day to a special mother and child. My own special tabby boy honors this page. Notice the M on Karma Cat's brow. Why Tabby wears an M. A Christmas cat story. There was no snow that night in Bethlehem. Instead, the small cat watched a star-spangled sky from her perch in the window of a stable. She liked the stable, for it was a warm, safe place to raise her furry babies, and the innkeeper sometimes left scraps out for her to nibble. Tabby wasn't particularly distinctive, and most humans didn't look at her twice. After all, her short, gray and black fur was quite common. But Tabby's striped coat hid a heart bigger than the cat's twice her size. This night, though, Tabby was out of sorts, for she'd not been able to hunt and catch dinner. Travelers had poured into town for days, so noisy they disturbed decent catfolk's rest. Why, they'd even invaded Tabby's quiet stable, a place she had before shared only with other furry creatures. Tabby hadn't minded the human couple. They were calmer than most. She'd left that morning for her usual rounds, but when she returned, the stable was packed with people. From her perch on the window, Tabby watched the last of the strangers leave. She slipped from the window and padded silently inside, and froze. "Meow, meow, meow," cried a tiny voice. A kitten? Tabby's ears turned this way and that to find the sound of the kitten's voice. It came from the manger, the very place Tabby often made her own bed. A woman knelt beside the manger, intent on the small mewling that arose from within. Tabby was drawn by the kittenish sound, though she knew her own furry babies were grown to cathood. She tiptoed forward very slowly and passed by a woolly burro, a warm cow, and all the other animals. The woman looked up and saw the striped cat. "Oh, little cat," she murmured, "my baby cannot sleep, and nothing calms him this night." She sighed and turned back to the manger. How grateful would I be to anyone able to bring him sweet dreams. As Tabby watched, each stable animal stepped forward in turn and tried to soothe the woman's baby. But the kittenish sounds continued, and finally, Tabby could contain herself no longer. Quickly, she washed herself, paws, face, behind the ears, to the very tip of her tail, so as not to offend the child's mother, and then shyly stepped forward. She leapt gracefully to the manger and stared into the face of the most beautiful baby, human or kitten, she had ever seen. He cooed and smiled, waving his tiny hands at Tabby, and she very carefully drew in her claws and settled herself beside him. Forgotten was her empty tummy. She could only hear her heart calling out to this sweet, human kitten. And Tabby began to purr. The wondrous cat song filled the stable with overwhelming emotion. The animals listened with awe, and the child's mother smiled as her baby quietly went to sleep. The child's mother placed her hand gently on the purring Tabby's forehead. Blessings upon you, Tabby Cat, for this sweet gift given to me and my child, she said. And where she touched Tabby's brow, there appeared an M, the sign of the Madonna's benediction. From that day forward, all proper Tabby Cats are honored with an M on their brow for the great service they performed that first Christmas night. And Christmas nights often find Tabby Cats staring into the night, purring as they recall a very special child their ancestor once sang to sleep.